he ever dreamed of as a child. Colin Kaepernick's protest revived the era of the political athlete. Those athletes who gave their voice to the oppressed, serving as gatekeepers to the protesters who, throughout history, seem to have lost their voices. Just like Kaepernick, there are many more athletes who suffered the same fate. One example of this is the boxing great, one of the greatest boxers of all time, the late Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali refused to fight for the United States in the Vietnam War. He even said, "Why should they ask me to put on a uniform and travel 10,000 miles away from home to drop bombs and bullets on brown people, while so-called Negro people in Louisville are being treated like dogs?" Well, unfortunately, but unsurprisingly, his title was stripped from him and he was suspended from boxing after that statement. The Olympics are also no stranger to acts of protest. In the 1956 edition of the Games, a huge boycott took place as a response to the invasion of Egypt by Israel. Moreover, the Tokyo Games in 1964 banned South Africa from joining the Olympics due to the political unrest in their country caused by apartheid. Now, in the case of gender equality in sports, the United States women's football team filed a complaint regarding gender discrimination against the United States Soccer Federation. Equal workload and lower wages compared to the men were the reason behind this, which they regard as institutionalized gender discrimination. There are also earlier cases of women fighting for a chance to play or even compete in sports. An example for this is the 1967 edition of the Boston Marathon, wherein Catherine Switzer tried to finish the race despite race officials trying to stop her because, as we know, women were not allowed to participate in that event during that time. You see, women have been in the forefront of many movements and protests advocating for equality in sports. They have been fighting an uphill battle against discrimination throughout the history. Now, protests, activism, and advocacies have come a long way, and they are now more compelling and enticing due to the support that they gained across the world. In the modern era, athletes have more powerful positions in the society. They are basically celebrities because every bit of movement that they make, basically their whole lives are monitored by people. In this modern age of social media frenzy, every tweet, every like, and every post gets a variety of reactions from different people, from haters and followers alike. Because of this, athletes are among the most followed personalities in various social networking sites such as Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, or whatever. Recently, Cristiano Ronaldo took the spot as being the most followed person in Instagram with 157 million followers. Some other players who are in the top 10 most followed list are fellow footballers Neymar Jr. and Lionel Messi with 111 and 110 million followers each. Given these numbers, we can see that these superstar athletes have a lot of people either looking up to them or criticizing them. Because of this number of followers, they have a power to create a bandwagon effect, which will be explained later. Now, the amount of fans that these athletes have is also the reason why they are being asked to endorse and advertise some products or some companies. Well, who wouldn't buy a product endorsed by Kobe, right? Whether it be Kobe Paras or Kobe Bryant, more people are enticed to buy certain products that are endorsed by people who they look up to or who they idolize. Fans or not, we recall products that are endorsed by celebrities. In the case of this speech, it is the Advocacies promoted by athletes. So, like this, we can see these logos associated to someone doing weight. We can also see that major sports clubs use their popularity to advocate for something. Like this, the Cleveland Cavaliers celebrating Autism Awareness Night every April because, of course, we know Autism Awareness Month is every April. Also, Women's National Basketball Team supporting breast cancer awareness, which is done every October. So we can see here that there is an increased chance of a person buying into something if it is endorsed by a well-known personality. For example, here is a football player named Paul Pogba who is advocating for anti-racism by simply wearing a white and black wristband to present his advocacy. Now, I mentioned earlier the bandwagon effect, but what is its importance to activism in sports? The bandwagon effect, as defined by Bloom, is a psychological phenomenon wherein people are enticed to follow a certain trend, believing that the majority is always right. You can look at it as a contagion or an epidemic, wherein when you are surrounded by people who are doing the same thing, most likely you are to follow suit because of fear of being ostracized or being left out in the group. Now, why is it relevant to my speech? Because as I said earlier, athletes are among the most followed personalities, not only in social media, but also in real life. With the power that they have over their followers, they can steer them to do something for the better by actually starting something and letting them jump in the bandwagon. So whether kneeling down during the anthem or wearing I Can't Breathe shirts to honor someone who died because of social injustices, because of racism, these athletes know that they have the attention of million fans around the world and that they are using this to make their stances known. One more example of this is rival teams actually joining together to bring something to the table. For example, the Black Sunday game between the De La Salle University and Ateneo de Manila Luiges. We all know that they are rival teams in UAAP, right? But during a basketball game in UAAP, they urge their fans to wear black as a form of solidarity and, of course, as a form of protest against the political unrest that is happening throughout the country. Now, this is regarded as one of the most politically charged events in Philippine history. There is also no shortage in terms of advocacies and movements and other ways of giving back to the community by professional athletes. Most recently, LeBron James, a future Basketball Hall of Famer, even regarded as one of the greatest players of his era, has dished out assists inside and outside the court. He made a huge impact on his hometown of Akron, Ohio by building the I Promise School, aimed at helping at-risk kids get back to studying by providing them scholarships so that they can receive the education that he believes everyone deserves. Another example is Rafael Nadal, a very famous tennis player, one of the best actually. He has the Rafa Nadal Foundation, which is aimed at combining sports and education by giving children scholarships to pursue both their athletic and academic goals. His advocacies also revolve around the care for young people with learning and intellectual disabilities. In 2018 alone, actually, his foundation has already helped more than 800 children. Now, in terms of professional sports leagues, they have also launched different campaigns to present their advocacies. The example here is the National Football League, where they have the event called My Cause, My Bleeds, wherein the athletes design their shoes depending on the charity or foundation that they pick. And right after the game, the shoes that they wore will be auctioned out. And all of the proceeds that they gain from that auction will be donated entirely to the charity that they chose. This event has already raised a lot of money and has helped countless of foundations and institutions around the world. Recently, Tom Brady's game-worn cleats has set an all-time high, selling for $20,010, wherein he supports the Ellie Fund, which supports breast cancer patients, and the Best Buddies Foundation, who helps people with learning and intellectual disabilities. Now, with all of these examples in mind, what am I really trying to imply? Personally, I see sports as more than just an entertainment, more than just a hobby. For someone who dedicates a majority of their time perfecting their craft, it can be considered a way of life. Therefore, we must always remember that even as student athletes or aspiring athletes, we are actually playing for something bigger. We are playing not just for personal accolades, for awards, for recognition, but we are actually playing for the people who are not as fortunate as we are. We can use sports as an avenue to bring attention to even very small issues in our society. Even though we are just amateur athletes or student athletes who are still trying to make it big, go professional or whatever, we can already use this platform to contribute to something to society. That's why I really think that sports and politics are really meant to be together. Because what use does sports have if it's just for entertainment, right? You pay athletes millions of pesos, millions of dollars, you give them full media coverage, but what use are these resources if they are not used for more than just entertainment? Now, protests are one way of incorporating the advocacies of these athletes in order to reach a wider range of audience. Because of the position that athletes have in society, they can serve as beacons of change and bulwarks to protect the rights of the people that look up to them. Now, whether or not protests have an effect on addressing certain issues, it is still important that athletes become vocal, that they use their position to further improve the community. A line in Kendrick Lamar's song even said, "Even a small light can burn a bridge." It means that we only need a spark, even just from one person, from one athlete, from one sports fan, to ignite the flame that will eventually burn down all the social injustices that plagues the country, that plagues the society. Now, ultimately, as athletes, we must always remember that a lot of people look up to us. With every shot we make, every catch we receive, we should remember that every drop of blood, sweat, and tear that we shed is the blood, sweat, and tears of the hundreds of people that look up to us, that expect us to fight for them. So we should not just shut up and dribble, because we are more than just athletes. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, for that enlightening